Live from London with Miss Suki. Hi. Hi. Monday here in London. It's August, which feels very crazy. The kittens are here. We've had them for a month now. They're fighting. Yeah. And Henry and I go back to the US at the end of the month. We don't have any more travel planned for the rest of August. We might bike to the Cotswolds this weekend. Actually, I take that back. Not bike there because that would be 100 miles, but bring our bikes on the train there and then bike around the Cotswolds once we're there. If you're unfamiliar, it's the English countryside, so it's very cute cottages, little villages, castles, a lot of history there, really good food, a lot of pubs. Henry and I went there. He surprised me for my birthday when we first moved to London. Went in the fall. It was pretty cold when we went, and I heard in the summer it's just beautiful to be outside, be in nature. Back to the US for 2 weeks. I'll bring my camera with. We're gonna go to Minnesota for a week, visit my family. We're going to the Minnesota State Fair. So excited to go back. I haven't been back to Minnesota since Christmas, so it's been about 6 months, and then we're gonna go to North Carolina, which is where Henry's from, and spend a week with his family. Super grateful we're able to spend that quality time with our families and be able to see both of our families when we're back in the US. And then it'll be September by the time we're back in London, which is crazy. Then it'll almost be a year upon moving here, which is also crazy. I've been trying to document more of what life in London feels like, not necessarily, you know, dox myself of like, where do I live, but talk about like, how does it compare to New York? You know, what are things that are different that I didn't notice? How did we get a visa? So let me know if you have any London specific questions for me about my move over, how I'm liking it, tips and tricks, that type of stuff, because I have learned a little bit. I'm definitely not an expert, but I would love to share that with you guys. I'm gonna go get some groceries and some food for the little cats here. It's a Tuesday. I woke up, did my usual routine, which I feel like I don't talk about a lot. Like, what do I structure my day like as a freelancer, which might be interesting because I know a lot of you guys are coming out of college, maybe working your first jobs, maybe you're working freelance even. And I think for me, it was hard to find routine when I first started or have a sense of like, what am I supposed to be doing on a day-to-day basis, because I'm working on projects for brands. So it's kind of like here and there. If there's a partnership for me to be working on, if I have nothing actively to be doing, then I come up with video concepts on my own. As an example for today, Henry and I wake up pretty early. I think like 6. I think we wake up pretty naturally, just like with the sun in our apartment. Breakfast. Okay, there's a cat. Wake up, make breakfast. Stop going and eating my cords. She loves to eat my cords. Go to the gym or go on a run. We kind of woke up late this morning at like 7:30, so just made our breakfast, which is typically oats, a yogurt bowl. Henry made muffins last week, so that was a fun little treat that we had. And then he will go to the office. I'll get started on my day, which is typically catching up on social media. I'm aware that's my job, but you know, seeing if there's any comments or DMs, checking my inbox, checking if my manager has sent me any inbound stuff for me to work on. Doing my journaling right now. I fell off journaling for a little bit and it's kind of been nagging at me, and I need to just like get pen to paper to get my thoughts out of my head. I'm going to be focused on a few TikTok videos. One that I'm going to be doing is more research focused about the Federalist Society. I made a video talking about it because I think it's really fascinating why the courts in the United States, the Supreme Court, the federal courts, are so conservative. Like, I feel like we know that Roe v. Wade was overturned, but we don't necessarily know like the movement behind it. So I'm going to make an educational TikTok about that. To go and reset my password on my NYU account because I know I have notes there from when I was taking classes to learn about this that I want to integrate into my TikTok as research. I did a YouTube video yesterday, so there's not a lot of editing to do for this week's vlog. I tried to do a Substack post about the trad wife content, which I think is not that relevant, but I might make it like a broader lens about like how a lot of liberal women are becoming conservative. It's a kind of weird trend that I've noticed in the past few months or so. Working on a TikTok about how I moved to London and kind of walking people through the steps of that. TikTok's my biggest platform. I try to get at least like 2 to 4 videos out every single day. Might not seem like a lot. Some of them are just like quick 13-second videos, 10-second videos. Other ones do require that research and education. Other ones are just responding to what you guys say. I'm trying to film YouTube stuff in the background. Instagram is just kind of like lifestyle stuff, and then Substack is more writing about something that I think hasn't been talked about yet. Probably should have posted a thing about trad wives a few weeks ago because it doesn't really feel relevant anymore, but Maybe I share it, maybe I don't. I use my ClassPass credits and go to this reformer Pilates class. I feel like I shit on Pilates a lot. It is a good workout. I just don't think it should be the only workout you do. I think you should also be doing like an element of cardio, something for endurance, and doing something with heavy lifting, like going to the gym and lifting and doing squats and RDLs and everything you can imagine. I think Pilates is gonna get you where you need to be from a longevity perspective. Pilates, just to change it up, have something that's a little bit lighter on my joints. We're over in West London, Marylebone, which is like a very bougie, rich area. I feel like I'm poor upon entering. I'm going to a pharmacy, and then I'm just gonna like hang out in this area. I have a call about sea moss girlies with the podcast network later. But yeah, we're just taking the bike out for a spin, head home with the cats later. So Henry and I are going back to the US at the end of the month. We're going back to Minnesota for a week. We're going to the state fair, and then we're going to hang out with Henry's family. So I'm really excited for that, but we do have to make a decision about the kittens before we go back, which is kind of hard. We've been recently saying like, what if we kept Suki, which I posted on TikTok, so I'm sure you're aware, but that has been something we have to think about because we're gonna be away for 2 weeks. We'd have to find like a babysitter if we kept Suki, or we have to like give the girls back to the foster agency. It's kind of up in the air. It's a Friday, it's like the afternoon. Henry and I went on a run this morning. I did some work. Now I'm out in Shoreditch. I want to go to this one vintage store because they had a lot of like cute home goods stuff. Still got the kittens. We might try to go to the Cotswolds tomorrow, which is the English countryside, but we have to figure out like the train and everything. We're gonna bring our bikes with. If we bike there, it would be like 100 miles, which I don't think we're interested in, but like we're gonna bike from village to village. So later afternoon and night, we're gonna plan that out. Otherwise, just loving the London summer, even though it feels more like fall, which I don't hate. I'm wearing this trench coat here. Sunny, no AC here, so it has been fairly hot, but I feel like we are really settled into our neighborhood and really enjoying it. Eating a lot of good food, a lot of good pastries, a lot of good cuisines, etc. And it's just been fun to be out and about with, you know, long summer nights. It kind of gets cool by the evening. I think Henry and I will look back at this part in our relationship and be like, wow, it was so cool. We just like moved to London together and fostering cats and did all of this. So very grateful for this chapter. Somerset House, I'm going to this exhibition called Virtual Beauty, and it's talking about like Instagram face AI. I found it would be very interesting for me to check it out together. And here are the bats. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Perfect time to sleep into bed. Right, Miss Mimi? Say hello to the vlog. Suki's just passed out here, spreading her thing. Or maybe you're awake. You want to say hi, Nova? Whoa. Super close. Suki. We have to figure out what we're doing with these little bats because we go back to the US next week. Originally, I thought like, oh, we're going to foster some kittens. They're going to be gone in a week. It's been 2 months, as you guys know. So we either need to give them back to the foster agency, which I don't want to do because we might be adopting them, or find someone to be a cat sitter when we're gone so that we don't have to like make this decision super rushed. You know, it is kind of challenging because we have 3. It's an odd number, not an even number. Cats tend to go in pairs. We have to figure out what we're going to do. Is that right, Miss Nova? Yeah, but we're chilling, we're live, laugh, loving, and yeah, it's a Thursday. I think Henry and I are going to go to a concert tomorrow night. We're going to go on a hike this weekend to Seven Sisters, which is like a very like well-known hike to do in the UK. It's supposed to be very beautiful, so I hope we do that. I'm going to go on a little walk and then make some dinner when Henry gets home. There she is, Miss Suki Boots. How are you doing, sweetie? Good? Good. Oh, you're so sweet. Hi everyone, it's a Friday right now. I am off to a pet store. There's a few pet stores like within London, but they're pretty small, pretty limited. I'm looking for a lot of cat toys and most of them are filled with catnip and kittens can't have catnip. That would be very bad for them. I'm gonna go to this like big pet store that's a little bit out of London. It's further out, like zone 3 or 4, something like that, because I'm gonna explain more details, but basically the 3 kittens that we have came from a litter of 6. So someone else has been fostering their 3 siblings, which I didn't know about until yesterday. I guess I should have asked that upon like getting the kittens, I don't know. Obviously you want kittens in pairs, so we have been thinking that Mimi and Nova make sense. They play a lot, they're very similar, they would get along very well. And then since Suki's like very attached to us, we've been thinking about adopting Suki, but the agency obviously wants Suki to be in a pair. So since they came from a litter of 6, it can be 2 pairs. He has been texting me like, we want to match Suki with this cat named Pinky. I'm like, who the fuck is Pinky? What the like, how old is it? Like, what litter did it come from? What does it look like? And they finally were like, no, Pinky is Suki's brother. Suki's brother. And I got a photo. Like, oh my God, why is he so funny? Looks like his name is like Bradley or something, or like Bernie. Like he looks like a human, his little face. So the hope is that Nova and Mimi go together, we keep Suki and we get Pinky, and we have to introduce Pinky and Suki so they like each other. You have to do it pretty gradually, so Pinky will be kind of like quarantined in a room by himself. Then you like grab a sock and kind of like rub their scents and like switch them. It's a whole thing, but I think that's gonna be the case for us. I'm just praying that Mimi and Nova find a good home, but I'm gonna go to the pet store, just get some things for the house because, you know, I want to commit to the girlies, make sure they have a good quality life here, and I'll take you guys along because I'm excited to actually go to like a proper kind of like suburban pet store. A big shopping center. I feel like I'm in the suburbs. We're going to a big pet store, as I mentioned earlier. Took a little Lime bike here. It was beautiful. It's very hot outside. Pets at home. Hi everyone, we are on our way to hike Seven Sisters. We're on the train. It's a Saturday morning. You know, we fed the kittens, went to a concert last night, which was fun, and now we have an hour and a half ahead on the train, and the hike is about half marathon distance, so it'll take us some time, but I'm excited. We go back to the US next week, so it's our last weekend in London. Money shot. What are you doing? I need my camera to focus. What is he doing? Childlike whimsy. Freak. Look at these two in the sun. It's a great place to nap, girls. Love it. Hi everyone, I'm here with the cat. I'm here with Miss Mimi. Where else would I be if not with a little kitten? Her and I go back to the US on Friday. Our neighbors were kind enough to volunteer to cat sit. Oh, she just fell over. It was so cute. They shock me every day with how cute they are. Girls have a sitter for when we're home with family. We're going to the Minnesota State Fair, as I mentioned. We're gonna go to the beach with Henry's family. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm just kind of tidying up the home, getting it ready for the cat sitters. Oh, you wanna be so involved in the video. How cute. And yeah, I think I'm gonna go for a run. I'm already feeling like fall in London, even though it's the middle of August. I'm gonna get outside. I've been having some more conversations with people that work in politics about social media, so that's been exciting for me. As you guys know, it's kind of like the next area that I think I wanna pivot into career-wise. Not saying that I'm being done being an influencer, but I'm sure you're probably aware, like, I don't want to be sharing about my personal life as I get older and older. So some point I will want an exit strategy into like doing social media in politics. That's the goal, at least for now, or where I think I'll end up. The London chapter has really clarified that for me of like what my goals and kind of ambitions are. I think I wasn't really dreaming about my life for a good bit after my dad died, and a little bit before that even. I was just kind of in a routine, like really being, I don't know, I don't want to say ambitious, I guess, but maybe ambitious is the right word. Like I wasn't really dreaming about what type of life I could live. I wasn't dreaming of like, what do I want to do before I die? What's my purpose? What's my calling? I was just feeling disconnected. So I feel back in alignment, which feels great. Of course, we'll take you guys along for Minnesota. I can't wait to hug my mom and see my family. Talk to you guys once we get ready for the trip back to Minnesota, but thank you so much for watching and I'll chat with you in the next video.